Hey, welcome to a special edition of Mississippi Stories. I'm Marshall Ramsey, editor at large at Mississippi Today. And our guest today is somebody that if you don't know, I don't know where you've been, because he is absolutely a legend in the blues field and music and just all around good guy, a guy I love to talk to. He is a songwriter, guitarist, harmonica player. He's known for his spectacular live performances. And of course, we're going to be talking about his brand new autobiography, I Ain't Studdin Ya, My American Blues Story. We got the one, the only, the legend himself, but Bobby Rush is with us. Bobby, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you, man. And thanks to God for your friendship. And we had a long talk the other day. Now we're talking again. So this it's a good thing, man. Good friends.
It really is, and that was the thing. I think the only thing wrong with that interview was it just, I could talk to you for about 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, there's just you got so many stories and so many great stories, and you've done a fantastic job getting them in this book. I just want to tell everybody this is a 5-star read out of 5. Y'all need to run out and go get it immediately, because it's not only a great, I guess, a good history of the blues and a good history of Bobby Rush's life, but it's also a great primer for anybody who wants to get into the entertainment business, because Bobby, I tell you, you sure do pack a lot of advice in that book too.
Well, when I was doing the book or when I started off with as an entertainer, I wasn't trying to pack up information. I was just doing what I need to do. I had to do to survive.
Yeah.
And I found out later on my survival was something everybody needs to do, survive. And if you look at my life inside of this book, you will come away with, if I can make it, so can you. That's the whole take on this book.
Yeah, and make it, I think you have, and you have survived. There's several incidents, and we'll talk about that a little bit over the next 30, 40 minutes in your life where be honest with you, the fact that we're sitting here talking to each other,
Well,
I feel like it's a God thing. It's a
it
miracle.
is. It is. I have so many things I wanted to talk about. I didn't talk about when because of time would let me tell all of my life.
Yeah.
I didn't talk about milking the cows. I did that. And all that kind of thing, plowing the mule and all that stuff. I'm a country boy. I came up in the country way, country lifestyle, but I had plenty of love with my dad, my mom, and together for almost 70 years, and so that gave me some insight about love, and I know that a lot of people have went through what I went through, and even more. But what I want people to go away thinking, so well, if I can make it, Bobby Rush can too. And I just appreciate all the love that I got from all the people around the country who embraced this book and the things that I say about myself in this book and other people's too.
I've read a lot of interviews with you since the book's come out. I've read a lot of reviews of the book, and they're all really incredibly positive. What made you decide to sit down and say, you know what, I think it's time for Bobby Rush to sit there and write a book about Bobby Rush?
People like my friends, the twins, who've been asking me for years, write a book, tell your story. What story I have to tell is different from anybody else's story. But I guess what happened with this time in my life, that I lived long enough for the story, to tell the story, and people believe in the story that I tell, because it really ain't a story, because to live this long and do the things I've done is a blessing to come out from under those kind of hardships. But then out of all the hardship I had through my life, the bad thing, but the good thing overtake the bad thing.
Yeah.
So I have no chip on my shoulder by anything, Marshall. I'm just loose and goose, and I know things haven't been all just right in my life. I haven't did everything just right in my life, but if I had to do it all over again, I think I would do the same thing, because I did what I know to do at the time I did.
Yeah, you definitely did. I mean, you did it with a lot of energy. I mean, you're typical. A lot of people, when they see your act, they're like marveling about how much energy you have. But that's the way you approach life. And when you were 11 years old, wanting to get into the entertainment business, I mean, you hit it with that same gusto.
Man, I tell you what'll make you get it. Need more make you go ahead and get it.
Yeah.
I need more and want it more, and I have a desire. I'm just an actor kind of person. I just thank God that I have this energy. I know that any man or woman can do without food for a long time, but you can't live without hope. So I still have hope. I'm still learning. I'm still enthused about the things that I do, about the things I see, things I think I could change because when I look at the changes and when I look at life, a lot of things have changed, but so many things remain the same.
You
You
grew up, I mean, your dad was a pretty amazing guy. He really was. I mean, it,
know,
and you know, when I think about you, I mean, everybody knows you as Bobby Rush, blues guy, blues man, but you're also Bobby Rush, the hot dog seller, the bricklayer. I mean,
yeah.
Bobby Rush is not afraid to tackle a challenge and to work. And
No,
you got
plus,
that from your dad, didn't you?
plus, I don't know whether I got the little line from my dad. My dad was straight ahead kind of a guy. I
Yeah,
remember I told a guy that I was a bricklayer. I didn't know anything about laying on brick. I know how to make mortar, which was like one shovel of mortar
yeah,
and shovel of sand. That's what lay the bricks. But I told a guy I could do corner to lay bricks. And I lied about it. He said, can you start this morning? I said, no, I can't start till 12 o'clock. My plan was to go out and watch the bricklayer from 8 o'clock to 12. That's what I did. I watched the bricklayer lay brick from 8 o'clock to 12. 12 o'clock, I said, okay, man, I'm going to go to work now. Then I watched him along up to lay the brick. I'm a quick learner. And I learned how to lay the brick. The next day he said, can you do corners? Corner means you do the corners and the bricklayer do the inside line. And I did the corners and the corners were crooked, but a guy helped me straighten them out. And so my man called me down. He said, Bobby Rush, come down. He said, man, you a lying. He cussed me out and said, but I tell you what, since you lie that good and you're eager to learn, I'm going to give you the job. And he made me the foreman over 28 people in the place. You be the foreman. You can't lay no brick, but you be the boss. Oh, I laughed my way through that, you know. But anyway, that's what I did with Elmo James back when I first got my band together.
yeah.
The guy turned Elmo James down and he asked me, what can you do? I said, I can do anything. He said, hey, Sam, we got a little guy say he can do anything. I was doing an audition to get on a Rabbit Foot show. He said, he can do anything. He said, come out. He said, hey, boy, you can do anything. What can you do? I said, I can ham bone. I started ham bone, hitting my mouth. He said, you hide. Then he had turned Elmo James them down, didn't like what they were doing. Then I hired Elmo James, all the guys to put them in my band, Freddie King and all these guys. And that was Bobby Rush and the Four Jivers. How about Bobby Rush got Elmo James in his band? And I was paying him a lot of money, $3.50 a night.
At what point, Bobby, did you really think to yourself, you know, I want to go into the music business. I want to go in the entertainment business. I mean, you were pretty young, weren't you?
Oh, I was 8 years old. I remember that fella.
Wow.
My dad was a preacher and a pastor of the church. So he got the guitar down one day. Said, give me the guitar here, boy. Let me sing a little song I used to sing to a little girl when I was a little older than you. I thought he gonna sing about my mama, either glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. But he didn't sing the gospel song, didn't sing about my mama. He said, me and my gal went to Chinky Pin hunting. She fell down and boy, I saw something. I said, Daddy, and being a preacher too, I said, Daddy, sing it again. What I wanted my daddy to do is sing the other verse because I knew he saw something. I figured in the next verse, he'd tell me what he saw. I said, sing it again. My mama said, me no sing that kind of song to that boy. So he went to sing it again. I said, Dad, here come mama. How big was she? He said, 350-pound boy, about that wide. I said, what you had on? He said, nothing but a dress. Now, in my little mind, that lady falling down with nothing on but a dress. Man, I can see that now. Today, I can still see that, what I thought it would be. So my mother said, he went to sing it again. He said, me and my gal went to Chinky Pin hunting. She fell down. My mama walking up behind him. She fell down, and I kept running. So I don't know what the song would have been. Don't know what he saw.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I knew right then I wanted to be a blues singer, a comedian. That's what I want to be. Blues singer, tell jokes. Because I thought that was a jokey kind of a thing that my daddy was saying. He fell down, I saw something. Man, I want to see what my daddy saw so bad. You know, that's about the only thing in my book that's not true. I said everything in my book is true, but I said I wouldn't sleep with a fat woman no more. I lied about that. Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
But I'm sorry, but if you don't like that and you can't forgive me for that lie, I ain't studying you.
What? There you go. Go ahead, tell everybody what I ain't studying you means, because
I ain't studying you really mean I'm not thinking about you. I'm not gonna do that for you. My if your mother told you when I was a kid coming up in a black neighborhood, a black home and house, if your mother said, you can ask her, give me a cookie, or give me a tea cake. She said, boy, you had 3 or 4 of them. Get out of here. I ain't studying. That means don't ask her anymore about that because you don't get nothing. That's it. I ain't studying mean that's the end of the line. That's it. You know, if the wife ever tell you that, get on the couch. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't studying. Just go to sleep.
Exactly. You know exactly what
go to sleep.
Nothing.
I ain't studying is a big word, man.
It is. It is. Yeah. Bobby, you know, you talk about you were young. You literally were drawing your mustache on with burnt match.
Oh man, I had to stretch a match for the burnt match. It was a set. We didn't have a crayon or anything that we could draw it on because I didn't know if it did. I didn't know about it. We were so poor in the country. We didn't have a piece of crayon. But I would scratch a match. My daddy had them big long matches. I would scratch one and blow it out quickly. Do that by 10 or 12 matches. I have so I could have this extra set, and I would draw my mustache like a Fu Man shoe. I look like a little Spanish guy, Chinese guy, you know, and put my cap on my head and walk in the door with my head down, and my voice was light, but I would drop my voice. How you doing, Bruce? Oh, I'm all right. You know, try to play a little main thing, you know, and try to walk with my chest stuck out like I was 18, 19 years old. But at that time, you could come in the club when you're 18 years old, but I wasn't old enough to come in the club, you know. But the girls, Muddy Waters, I blame him and Little Walter. They called me little brother. They introduced me. This is my little brother. Oh, the man, them girls was kissing on me. Man, I liked it there. One day, there was a couple of girls at the bar looked real good. So Little Walter must have been holding them for himself. I said, Little Walter, tell them girls are nice looking girls. Tell them girls over there I'm your little brother. Because I want a kiss from them. He was giving me a kiss from them other girls, but didn't look as quite as well, you know. They all was good, but not quite as well. But I wanted the one that Little Walter was holding for himself. Them the one I want to kiss me.
Well, did you ever?
Hey, Little Walter, hey, your little brother over here. They would come over there, hey, little brother. So I was just a teenager, you know. Muddy Water was an old man. He was about 28 years old.
Oh, yeah. You and Muddy had a really good friendship over the years. You know, one thing that kind of struck me, and you can kind of tell in the book, you never took advantage of that friendship, though. I mean, you didn't say, "Hey, Muddy, I need to do this or that, the other."
I never want to. I never wanted a favor from the guys who I thought maybe was doing me a favor because I wasn't qualified to be where they were. I thought I was qualified to do whatever they were doing. I just didn't have a chance. I never asked Muddy Water to do anything for me. You know, maybe I should have asked him not to give me a beer. He gave me a beer, 3 beers when I was 1957 when I had the beer. 3 beers, and I got drunk. Yeah, because I don't drink.
Right, you don't drink. Like I said, I think the next time you drank was when you won the Grammy, and that was, that was a couple of years later. So,
long. I was 83 years old.
Yeah.
When I got the Grammy, so my manager Jeff said, "Hey, you gonna have a little taste of this?" I said, "I'll do a little tasting, a little toasting, what have you." And that's the second time I had a drink. Probably, I tasted, you know, just probably 40 years later, you know. But that never was my thing. I just wasn't, drinking wasn't my thing. I saw so many guys at my age bracket, a little older than I, took their career in another direction. I never wanted to do that because I didn't want to, I used their downfall so I wouldn't fall in that pit that they fall in. Because I see guys on the stage drunk and whatever. I said, that won't be me, you know. Of course, I do so many other things that just, I don't drink or smoke or get high for fun fashion. But I do so many other things, you know. Still look at the big leg girls. They're not my girls and they're not my legs. Yeah. But I still look at them. That's not right either. And they're kids just like whiskey.
A lot of truth right there, folks.
I figure you would say amen to that. You know?
Yeah, no, I'd say definitely say amen on that. Hey, you talk, speaking of legs on girls, there was a scene, I guess pretty early on, you were pretty young and you were with a dancer and she was like rolling up her stockings or something like that. And she looks at you and goes, "This is a privilege." And I know where your mind went. But she was talking about the privilege of entertaining people. And that was kind of what set you up early on to realize how important your audience was.
Yeah, what happened on them time, the ladies didn't have the overall stocking. They would roll them up and it was a. I thought it was my job. If the stocking was down like that, and I would roll it up, I thought that was my job.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing it to be fresh. I just thought it was my job, and I would get on my knees and roll it up. That meant I could have a good. I could tell how far to look and how far to roll it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So right.
But that said, and you know, you said early on you wanted to be a musician or an entertainer, I mean, or a comedian, but you know, you're in the Rabbit Minstrel shows, which, you know, some people say they're controversial, but it really was a chance for you to cut your teeth on how to get in front of a crowd and to experiment and to learn how to become an entertainer. And then you got on the Chitlin circuit, you know, for years and did that, and you honed your show and you kept getting. At the end of the day, there are musicians and there are entertainers. You're both, but you're truly an entertainer, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, that's what this business is about. It's not a singing business. It's not a guitar business. It's not a harp business. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
You can't entertain. You just can't stay in this business. It's just, you know, I want to be both because how I got into comedian thing, I always been this guy tell jokes in school and whatever. So I remember I went to Walton's Corner when I was maybe 20 years old. And Red Fox said, man, I got this guy, I want to hire you, but he needs somebody who could MC and be a band leader also. And MC then was really a comedian.
Yeah.
So the guy said, Mr. Waldner was a guy who never smiled in anything. He said, man, if you can make Mr. Waldner laugh, he'll hire you. So I said, oh God, I can't make Mr. Waldner laugh. I said, yes, I can too. Mr. Waldner looked up at me and said, boy, what you do? I said, I can make you laugh. He said, okay, make me laugh. I said, I went by this girl's house the other night and her door was unlocked. And I walked in the house and thought she was at home. And by the time I walked in the door, she came home with her door unlocked, not knowing I'm in the house. So I hid behind the door. When she got close to me, I said, boo. She said, oh, you almost get my panties off. I said, boo, 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 boo. And he laughed, you know, and I got the job, man. I got the job with Red Fox.
Wow.
Yeah, I got the job.
What was Red Fox like? I mean, Red Fox, obviously, you know, iconic. And that's, I don't think a lot of people know that about the Chitlin circuit, that it launched literally American entertainment because so many people that were on it, like Red Fox, ended up becoming groundbreakers and, you know.
Red Fox was my dear friend, and he got me into a lot of doors. In fact, he introduced me to Aunt Esther. He and Little Brooklyn. Aunt Esther, she was in East St. Louis. She lived in Lovejoy, Illinois. East St. Louis, where I met her when she was about 18 and 19 years old. 19 years old. I mean, she was built like this brick boo-boo house, man. Not looking too good, but built right. You know, yeah. I don't want to use the word ugly on what we're doing, but she didn't look as well as a lot of other girls. But man, she had this body, and man, she could dance. You know,
yeah.
She could dance. You know, and I had another lady with me then was a snake dancer. Now she had a big snake, but she was built. Everybody saw everything but the snake. It's a snake dancer, but everybody never sees the snake. You know, but that's why I kind of cut my teeth and get it. That's where the ladies come now on the side of me. I've been doing that all of my life. It just wasn't dancers, it was snake dancers, shake dancers.
Yeah. I think about your show, and of course you talk about that a lot in the book, about how it evolved and changed over the years. You know, as you've gotten older, you brought back the harp, playing the harmonica again, and you know, the blues, you really, really dive deep into that. And and I think about you writing this book. A lot of people, I think, at this point in maybe their life, they would look back, you know, in the rearview mirror. But damn, Bobby, you keep turning around and winning Grammys and getting out there and showing. I mean, and I feel like that in another 2 or 3 years, you're going to have to add to another chapter to this book.
Oh yeah, but I got some chapters I didn't put in the book. I got some things I didn't say, some things I didn't talk about in the book because my life has been so wide range. Yeah. So too many things to talk about. I just couldn't put it in one book, you know.
Yeah. Well,
but I'm just living my life one day at a time and thanking God for the time He gave me. My plan is now to do all I can while I can.
Right.
There come a time I cannot do, Marshall, then I won't regret what I did not do.
That's very true and very profound. And one of the things about the book, and I think that makes it really powerful and makes it important and a great read, not only, I mean, obviously your life and your story on how this incredible career of yours came out to be, but the effects of growing up in first in Louisiana, then in Arkansas, and then being up in Chicago and dealing with the race issue full blast. I mean, you don't pull any punches in the book. You're very honest about some of the things that you had to face and struggle through. Tell us a little bit about that, Bobby. I mean, you
Yeah.
were very honest in it.
Well, I'm honest about it even now because the racial thing been always here.
Yeah.
You like what you like, who you like, and what you do, and the one you don't. Because it's not just about all race to me about a white and black issue. Because there's some black people that have been cool with me too.
Yeah.
And I love everybody, but not to the point where I love you so much that you could do me wrong. I keep loving you.
Right.
You got to treat me like I wish to be treated. I want to treat you like you wish to be treated, and that go whether you're black or white. Because I don't want to get into no black and white issue because black lives don't matter, but our vote matter most. And I often talk about that because Florida ain't the first man that I read about had a knee on his neck. I've been had a knee on my neck all of my life. I'm talking about lack of opportunity.
Right.
And so I can see a lot of things have changed, but I see so many things remain the same. Now, if I had wrote this book just a little bit later, I probably would have wrote something different when I saw what happened at the White House. I probably would have said something about that issue because I let people know that we are here and things happen, they remain the same. It's almost like me going to a toilet. When I was a boy, we had an outside toilet, not an inside toilet. Outside, and they smelled bad, looked bad, and the whole bit. Now I got 9 bathrooms in my house. They look good, they smell good, but what you do in them, we remain the same. that haven't changed. So I say that to say this: a lot of things have changed, but remain the same.
Yeah.
What we have to do, when I say we, I'm talking about we as a people, black, white, green, or brown, what have you, we have to learn to pick up the pieces. We know what's wrong, but how to fix it, what we all don't know. But I can tell you, we can start with loving each other.
Yeah.
We tried everything else. Let's start with loving each other and knowing that we can't get along in this world by ourselves. And that makes a difference. And I use my music, maybe for cover up or whatever you want to call it. I use my music to escape from the disasters of my life.
Yeah.
The things that I think I can't do, the thing I think it's hard for me to do. And what I do in my life, I strive for the things that's hard for me to do or something that I think I can't do. Because what you can do will take care of itself. That's what I strive to do in this life. And I want to let everybody know that when you pick this book up, you're not just reading another book. You're reading a book that is part of my life. It's part of your life. I know that's someone that have had much more problems than I've had. But I've been so blessed to share my life with you because life is like a wheel. You put a mark on the wheel and you roll it down a hill. Your mark will come back to you sometime and sometime it won't. Mm-hmm. My life has come back to me 3 times because of my age.
Yeah.
3 scores and 10. My life. There's some people wasn't blessed enough to live long as I've lived. And I don't take that for granted. I just thank God for the mindset and the living because I still have a mind to do right by others. Because if a wife and her husband is not getting along, and if a man beat his wife and he learned not to beat his wife, he's still a wife beater who learned not to beat his wife. Yeah. But when you don't have a desire to beat your wife, that's what we got to get to. I don't have a desire to do other people wrong. I just want God to keep me enthused. When you do me wrong, I can forgive you for that and keep going on by picking up my own straps boots and making life what it should be. I don't know what that is all the time, but one thing for sure, if I live by faith, it's hope. I have hope. I'm still learning. I'm still being teaching, and I'm teachable.
Bobby, I think I've interviewed you 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
I can't remember the thing, but I got to tell you, every time I walk away from talking to you, number one, I like you that much better. And number 2, I'm inspired by you. but you've had some things in your life that would have knocked most people down and kept them in the fetal position, and you've gotten back up. You've lost 3 children, and there's no worse thing that anything can happen to a person than lose a child. You got into a gas explosion that burned a lot of the skin off of you, and you came back from that. You got in a bus wreck when your bus driver had a heart attack, and you were pinned in there and thought that the diesel was going to catch on fire.
Yeah, I still remember those. They saying, well, don't light the fire and cut him out because the gas tank is too close to how I was pinned down.
Yeah.
I didn't think about explosion, but I thought about the blessing of God, how he blessed me to be able to think spiritually and ask God to help me and bless me in that position. Because I think if it wasn't for the prayers of other people's and the prayer of early people, righteous men proud bellies much, that I wouldn't have survived this life. I know God had some plans for me because he's gotten me out of many holes and many tracks and many cracks. And I don't ever forget that. I laugh and joke about a lot of things, but I'm serious about how God have blessed me. Yeah. Because you don't get this old and still walking around and being able to think and do for yourself without saying thank you for the health and strength and the things around me. I just appreciate it. Now, the extent to that, how blessed I am to be able to cross over and not cross out.
Yeah.
Well, white people's now accepted me for who I am. That don't happen to a lot of people. That don't happen to a lot of people. Yeah. And here I am talking to you, and you into what I do and what about me. Come on, you don't have to do this because that's God love, man. You don't have to do this, you know. I have 2 ladies that are sitting around me now and looking good and everything. They've been my friends for many, many years. I know they people, know their kids and their husband, boyfriends and what have you. I'm saying that to say to you that I'm so blessed to have people around me who believe in me and think rational of me and think good about me and think enough about me to keep doing things for me and with me like you're doing with this interview.
You know, Bobby, I was just in the back of the book right at the end. You just start thanking your musicians that are with you, not for 2 years or 3 years, but for 25 and 30 years. And I mean, you have been blessed. And of course, you know, one of the things I enjoyed about the book was just all the names that I was familiar about. And you talked about Little Walter, who's one of my favorite harmonica players on the planet, and who apparently has a stack of $1 bills in the back of his trunk, which I thought that was a great story too.
I thought Walter was rich. He was rich. He was, black rich, what they want to call it. But he was in this club in Waukegan, Illinois. He said, "Come go with me, blood." Well, I want to go with Little Walter because Little Walter had the name, and I would call me little brother. We were in this place. He was sending everybody up in the bar. It wasn't about 50 people in the bar, but to me, that was 50 people in 1952. That was a lot of people, man. Yeah. And he was buying everybody a drink. The beer was 25 cents a quart. Well, 3 or 4 quarts of beer, $1 worth of beer, man, set up everybody, pouring it in the glass. So he's about 8 o'clock. Walter was a drinker, get drunk and high, smoking reefer or whatever. He said, "I got to go home. I run out of money." Run out of money? You run out of money and all these girls sitting around here kissing on me, man. When you run out of money? He said, I thought he had to go home and get the money. He had to go outside to his car. He opened his trunk. It was full of money, $1 bills, all $1 bills, just loose in his trunk. Well, to me, man, that was like $1 million. He probably had about $400, maybe $400. So when he said that he got him a handful, he said, "Get you some of this money, Bobby Rush." I got me a handful. Being nice, his car, his money, his trunk. So being nice, I got me a handful. I must have had $20. What you could pick up $1 bill. And I didn't want to stuff my hand because I'm trying to be nice. And he closed the trunk back down and it's go whoo, and the dollar bill was sticking up out the side of it. I was pulling them out, pulling the dollar bill out the trunk. I said, "Little Walter," I said, "Where you get this money, man? All this money you got here. You're rich." He said, playing the harp, boy, playing the harp. Well, I knew right then I wanted to be a harp player. I laid my guitar down, picked my harp up because this is where you get rich at, with a harp. That's what I thought. But when I look back on it, if he had $200-300, about all he had.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably didn't have a bank account. All he had was in the trunk, probably. That's me talking. And knowing Walter, he was a whiskey head, you know, and he smoked reefer all the time. He didn't smoke as much as Muddy Water. Muddy Water had a cigarette look like violin cases, big old joint, all day and all night. Hey, you want some blood? Poof. Yeah. But anyway, that's my life. And I laugh about it and talk about it because I had good friends who taught me this business by watching them do the thing they should not do. I learned not to do that. So that made me not a better man. I don't use the word better man. Made me a wiser man.
Yeah. Well, you talk about, I mean, there was a quote in there and I forgot who said it, but it was basically that you had saved $1 million by not drinking and doing drugs and everything. There's a lot of truth to that.
Let me tell you what I did. In 1981, I was going to come south. So I had 2 guys smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day. And I was paying them $54 a night work. So I got rid of my horn player, $54 a night. That's $108 a week. And the cigarette they were smoking, I guess they were smoking 4 or 5 packs a day. I added up the cigarette and what I was paying a horn player. I paid myself that for 23 years, and I saved that money in a cookie jar. I saved that money in a cookie jar. That's how I saved my. I said, well, I was surviving with the guys I was paying them, so I don't have them, so I pay myself the money I was paying the guys. And the cigarette that they smoke, if I don't smoke, I save the money. I estimated what they were smoking, which is about $3 or $4 a day, and I was saving that money. And I put in a cookie jar. And I stayed there for 28 years before I spent a dime of it.
Oh wow! So what'd you spend it on when we were done?
I bought CDs with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I can tell it now. I never spent a dime of the money. And not even today, I still have that money.
I think that. Okay. I'm inspired, but that's the thing about you. Like I said, you figured out pretty early the business side of it as much as, because people think show business and they think of show, but they don't think of the business side.
That's right. They leave the business off and have it all show. You know? But I had my ups and downs. I did a lot of things I shouldn't have done. I got caught up in, and I tell about in the book, got caught up in conspiracy and all that kind of thing because I tried to be this independent guy, and life ain't just like that, man. You know, in this show business, man, it's a dog eat dog world, man. It's a cutthroat world. But I survived it, and here I am, thanking God He brought me through this rat race, and I'm to a point now in my life, nothing and no one can stop me.
When you moved to Jackson, it seemed like you really picked up. I mean, you really kind of fell in love with the community. The community fell in love with you. You gave back to the community. You still give back to the community. Tell a little bit about that, about how Mississippi embraced you and how you embraced Mississippi.
It's really, they embrace me because who I am. That's really who I am. I don't have to add to that because I am this kind of person who like to do for people who can't do for themselves.
Yeah.
I like to go places that I dare not to go. I like to do for people who love or appreciate me doing it for. And that's the kind of person I am. I don't have to practice this, man. It's just the kind of person I am, you know? But I know one thing, what goes up, come down. What's go around, come around. And I know that a lot of things that happen to me, bad and good. But most of the things happen to me bad because I brought it by myself, not knowing what happened. Because as a man and as a musician, as a black man, what happened to me and my race and people around me, most of the things happen because not what we say is what we don't say. Because we got men, I use men because I'm a man.
Yeah.
We walk around, we see kids, and we seem to turn our back to the children and the people who doing things they shouldn't be doing, and we don't say anything about it. We say, oh, it's not my child.
Yeah.
Come on, if we are grown men and see a child doing something, you should speak out on the issues of it and speak your opinion about it and try to guide them in the right way. If it's not your child, it is your child, really. You know, and that's what, and most of the time we get caught up in the situation where it's not my child. Do what you want to do. The hell with it. No, it ain't like that. because we get trapped in, especially my race of people, by not saying what we need to say when it needs to be said. Because what we don't say is what we fail from and
Right.
are doing. And it's too bad it's like that. But from now on, I haven't said everything I should say. But I'm speaking on this book about something I should have spoke about long ago. And I'm hoping someone could take this book and learn from it and replace it in your life, that you can apply it to your life and get up out of this ditch that you're wallowing in and say, hey, if Bobby Rich can get out the ditch, so can I.
Exactly. And definitely good. The book, of course, is I Ain't Studdin Ya, My American Blues Story. Bobby, you worked on it with Herb Powell. Tell
Yeah.
us a little about who Herb is, because he's
Herb been around for a long time. I got hooked on him when he wrote the book on Earth, Wind, and Fire. And he did many others, but Earth, Wind, and Fire book really got me because our Earth, Wind, and Fire was dear to my heart. And I know Earth, Wind, and Fire. I know Maurice's father, who was a doctor, who's went to school with my wife as a nurse and the whole bit. And I got kind of hooked in what he was doing, how he kind of guided them. With me, he kind of wanted my story and let me tell my story. And he kind of got it and put it in words so to be understood from good readers and bad readers or what have you. But that's all he kind of did with me. But that was enough. And he kind of took my story, not really twisted or turned it. He kind of spoke what I said to him, you know. Maybe there were some points and I told some things I wanted him to kind of take it and twist it, make it be readable, make it be some clever things. But he didn't do that. He just, hey man, what you said is what it is. And I said, what I said is what it is. And I didn't think I was qualified to say something that be so in line with the right thing.
yeah.
But he seemed to think what I said was okay, you know. And I know this. I know I'm gonna step on a few toes in this business and about this book. I know that Willie Dixon grandkids and grandchildren, great grandchildren, gonna say, "Well, hey, my daddy wrote these songs." But I say now I'm thinking about Muddy Waters grandkids, Hollywood grandkids, his great grandchildren, and so on and so on. They was deprived from getting royalties
Yeah.
from the song that they wrote. But Willie Dixon got a credit for writing some song he didn't write. But he was in a position that he could put it on paper, and I've been done like put it on paper, and it goes down like he wrote the song. Well, now he's gone, so he get credit for writing his grandchildren. But what about some of the guys he was writing for, like Bo Dylan and all the guys? Say he wrote. How can you write for a guy who couldn't read or write?
Right.
So what's wrong with that picture? And I kind of pulled the cover off of it. So I'm going to hear some slack between the family about that, about who wrote what. But I was done the same way. Calvin Carter I wrote my first song called Chicken Head. We encoded with this now, Chicken Head. And the record was a big record, but I'm on the record. Calvin Carter got my name on the record and his name on the record. But when he turned the contract into BMI, he didn't put my name on it at all. He put me on a piece of the writer and none of the publishing.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah. But that happened. But that wasn't white people's doing it. It was the black people doing it. Because black people was in a position, it's like the field guy. The guy was on a plantation. It was the black guy that did some black guys wrong for the white people.
Yeah.
That's what happened with me. That's what happened with the Muddy Water and Hollywood, all them guys. And they're going to be proud when they read this book. You can bet you Muddy Waters' grandchildren, Willie Dixon grandkid going to be getting mad with each other about what I said. Because I'm putting the cup off a lot of things.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that a little bit, that there's a lot of things that eventually will come out and so forth, and I won't deep dive into it real quick. I won't deep dive into it right the moment, but I will say this. It has been fun over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years, particularly in the last 10 years, to watch you get the accolades that you deserve, and you, when you're on the Tonight Show with Dan Aykroyd, or you're in a movie with Eddie Murphy, hell, Bobby, I just got a smile when I see that, because you're just such a good guy. It's just good to see you get that. Did you ever think that these sort of things would happen to you?
No. I pinched myself about 10 times on my way up to get the Grammy.
Yeah.
It's Bobby Rush. It just Bobby Rush. And I had many records to sell more than that sold before I won the Grammy. But nevertheless, the Grammys is take the place of everything in music business. It's the highlight of my career, man. And I just think the people who voted for me, the people who rooted for me to be in this position to get this. I don't know what happened or when it happened or how it happened or why it happened. I just know I'm grateful that it did happen.
Well, I got to tell you, Rawer Than Raw is a fantastic album. And I mean, like you said, your work, you know, some people, and I can tell you from coming what I do in the creative world, that sometimes it's easy to, you know, you get better and better and better, and then you get kind of just start doing this a little bit. Bobby just does that. And then on top of that, for those days that you just can't think of something, you got a whole sack full of cassettes full of songs.
Yeah, I got a cassette. I must have, and I talked about it on a couple of other interviews. I must have 300 some songs that written already. Yeah. If I never go in the studio, I could put out at least 20 more albums, but I even go in the studio that I got in the can.
Well, Bobby, I don't want to hold you up. I know you can go record an album this afternoon or something.
Yeah, I have a album I just recorded beyond what I got in the can the last 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. And I haven't put a name to it yet, but I did record about 6 or 8 songs.
That's great.
But I can talk about Chicken Heads.
Yeah.
Government Mule just did Chicken Head with me. Buddy Guy just did Chicken Head with me, and so did Kingfish. And I got a couple other guys that may or may not come in, but if they don't, we got this. Government Mule really killed us. Buddy Guy, it's gonna be our record day this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's gonna be our record day this year.
That's great. That's great.
I recorded all this stuff and I paid for all the masters. So here I am again. Crazy guy like me. So the book is out now. Buy the book, read the book, and I'm hoping that you'll learn from the book. If nothing but, if I can make it out of what I've been through, you can too. I'm not doing this book thinking so people feel sorry for me, thinking I'm the only guy ever had in a hardship. I don't think that at all. I just want you to know, regardless of the hardship you go through, it's not the end of the rainbow.
Amen. Bobby, before we go, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I want everybody to think that that you can make it on your own. You can make it if you're good in what you're doing. You can make it if you accept the blessing that God have laid in front of you, because a lot of time we as a people looking for something that's already on our nose. It's right there. God ready to help you and ready to bless you in any situation you're in if you do it the right way and have the right belief and have the right faith in yourself and what you're doing. I tell all the young people, just be good at what you do on the promotion side, on the business side, and the entertainment side. That's what I try to be. I try to be good at what I do, and I think I'm good at what I do.
You are.
If you don't like me, you can say, well, I don't like old Bobby Rush, but damn, he good. That's all what matters.
He's good, and you hustle.
Yeah, hustle. That's you hustle, and that's where the enthusiasm come in.
Yes.
The hustle. You know, I'm still hustling, man. And life is a hustle. You got to hustle to be here, hustle to get here, and you got to hustle to stay here.
Amen. Amen. Bobby, it's always a pleasure and an honor, and I'm just so glad we got to visit again. I mean, this made me.
Thank you, man. I just love what you do. Let me say to you before I leave, thank you for what you have done. Thank you for what you're doing, what you plan to do, because what you say about me, what people perceive me to be. So thank you for the good words and the good thoughts and whatever you do and say about Bobby Rush.
Every word of it was true.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you for watching this episode of Mississippi Stories. Make sure to subscribe to the Mississippi Today YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified every time a new video uploads.